Welcome to your natal chart report. This is the Peace Dealer. We are going to be looking into this marvelous and very powerful natal chart. Some of the most people have very pronounced Libra stelliums. Benjamin Netanyahu and Vladimir Putin, two very powerful men with very powerful Libra placements. Libra in the zodiac is a social power. So I'm going to take this time to really explain the mechanics of astrology, which has been riddled with so much BS and pseudoscience. It's hard to really tell it apart from some pop psychology psychobabble versus an actual scientific discipline that unfortunately isn't recognized by its other scientific siblings. Astronomy, astrophysics have disowned astrology like the weird older brother that is just some pseudo scientific conspiracy theorist. But thankfully, it is the one true science in a sense that can really influence others. Now, the Earth is a tuner. All right, it's a frequency tuner that with the other planets now in its orbit create or as they orbit around the sun, the Earth produces electromagnetic low frequency ELF waves that of course tune these waves from other planets and gravitational forces. And these ELF waves, which the military has shown affect aquatic life, resonate with at the same frequency with which our frequencies resonate. Now bringing credence to how this directly affects our moods. So when people say that the planets affect you, they don't. It's very erroneous to say, oh, astrology is legit because the planets affect you from light years away. That's not really how this works. The planets that we're seeing here literally just give a snapshot of where they were transiting where you were born. And now the angle that we will be illuminating, all these angles speak a language. So we do have the constellations of the zodiac, or we do have the constellations, the visible star groupings in the sky, and then we have the zodiac. Okay, astrophysicists have never read a natal chart, right, and listen to hearsay from people who have inconclusive evidence around debunking astrology, unfortunately don't know the difference between constellations and the zodiac. This is confusing because the zodiac was named after the constellations, so it's easy to mix the both of those. Constellations are visible star groupings, and due to the precession of the equinox, your sun that was 20-degree Libra is actually at the end of Virgo. If we were going to look at what constellation your sun is, it's actually in the constellation of Virgo. But that's not what makes you the sun. Why you represent Libra isn't because it's in the constellation of Libra, but because when you were born was right after the fall equinox, where now we began to experience greater night than day. So it was in the imaginary space that is represented through 180 to 210 degrees. Your sun specifically is at 200 degrees. That 200 degree range is the Libra space, as the zodiac is an imaginary space. Constellations are visible star groupings. And so the precession of the equinox does not affect in any way the zodiacal positioning of your placements. The imaginary space broken through mathematical 30-degree divisions, creating the seasons. Now, the zodiac is formed through the sun's ecliptic path and its intersection with the Earth's celestial equator. This creates the Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn, forming the seasons through the equinoxes and solstices. All right. And it is the language that the planetary aspects create which really enable us to govern as above, so below. So in really taking all this into account, when you were born, was on a full moon. The moon made a 183-degree angle to your sun. 180 to 210-degree angles are Libra signatures. So your Libra signature as a Libra sun, you are the original artist, the original activist. And now, relative to the 80s, you were born with a powerful triple conjunction. I have a series around Sun Jupiter of godhood. Kanye West said, "I'm a god. I told you who I thought I was." He has Sun Jupiter. It was the Zeus facet of his spirit talking through him. There are many people who have Sun Jupiter that represent this spiritual infusion with expansion and evolution. But you also have Kronos and Hades. So this represents an alien construct. Pluto power, you can destroy that which isn't built upon truth. You can perform psychic surgery. In Libra, this represents a very powerful awareness that enables you to break down to the minute level an individual's character. All right, relative to the social actions they take, you're able to see beneath the surface into who that person is. And it enables you to awaken through this polishing and balancing of the way you take action to transform your relationships with others, which is the generational facet of Pluto and Libra that we see span from 73 to 82. Okay, you also have Saturn on the sun. 50 Cent has Saturn on the sun. Ghislaine Maxwell has Saturn on her sun. Saturn on the sun can manifest from the heart, create successful empires, turn time backwards or forwards, recognize false leaders, all right, and manifest anything into 3D reality. It's the gangster. You are a gangster, okay? I say that because Sun Saturn placements, your spirit is infused with the integrity and authority of karma here, exalted in Libra, with which Pluto and Saturn make your archetype up to be someone who has high social authority and is very extremely passionate about justice and fairness. You hate unfairness. Jupiter here is linked directly with your spirit, is going to expand every action you're a part of that enables more evolution of, in the 11th house of social circles, the society and community you are a part of. So in the 11th house, you know, Kim Kardashian, I think, was born during this period and is a great example. 11th house is a house of fame. You can see how she's famous. The 11th house represents more your awareness and presence in communities that bring organization, evolution, and transformation. You're powerful AF. And the moon in Aries, Kamala Harris has this signature. Cardi B, T.I., the rapper. You have an original, authentic soul. I would definitely love for you to watch Cardi B just speaking, right? I want you to watch it. You don't have to watch it, but in reference, if you just look at Cardi B just being herself, she represents the Libra classiness, but she has a very raw, original, authentic way of expressing herself. Libra is going to be very classy and be aware of social, expectations. But Aries doesn't really care. Aries is going to say the F-bombs. Aries is going to oppose that relative, and this gives you the best of both worlds, where you have an authentic, original understanding that harvests and completes your social balanced awareness, enabling you to feel who you are, but then express the balanced presentation of that towards other people. And that full moon axis now, of course, draws in the individual nature of your soul to express through your social spirit. The first 4 signs are individuals and represent your individuality. The next 4 signs represent socials, and we call the supers. Leo and Scorpio are super strength. Virgo is super analysis, enhanced synesthesia, and Jupiter is Libra is superpower, social acuity, the power of jumping other people. Libra can get 10 people on their side to jump one person, and this can also represent an activist who can bridge multiple people with similar values and to demonstrate. All right, Libra is justice, Capricorn is order. All right, so Saturn here in its exaltation in Libra looks like a Kim Kardashian who is studying law and, helping prison reform by getting people out of prison, right? Because of this exaltation of fairness and justice. So you're super powerful on a level that is alien and godlike. And I'm not saying that to flatter you. This is very intense, and I can imagine the pressure that rests on your shoulders because in a sense, what you're meant to really accomplish in these spaces, especially with your destiny, North Node Cancer. You're taking the incredible nature of your own values and finances to bankroll individuals who support a lot of your causes. And this destiny here sets you up for wealth, where if it was the North Node in Capricorn, you would be challenged by being trusted by individuals to invest in what you have. But you're the one using your collateral and backing to transform your dealings with other people. This is going to greatly influence how authentically you, of course, balance the community around you. Uranus in the 12th house here is going to represent an unconventional level of claircognizant wisdom. That opposite Chiron in Taurus now links healing with the work you do. Whether formally or informally, this natural healing element is supernaturally harvested with Uranus here. Something that as of now, Uranus has made a full opposition to your Uranus. Something exclusive to those born in the late 70s and of course the early 80s. I'm born 1990. My Uranus is 8 degrees. I'm not going to have my opposition until 2033, 2034. So, of course, this is a very important period you're going through. Saturn's getting ready to oppose your Libra next year in Aries, all right, where you will now complete the karma you returned back in 2012 or 2010. All right. Uranus, of course, that has now made it into Taurus, is unconventionally innovating the values with which you manifest your behavioral patterns and lifestyle to now automate and innovate and how much more you can literally set and forget aspects of your routine to get you paid and set up passive income. So Chiron here heals how grounded other people's lifestyles are. And this can be induced by touch. Uranus is going to now unconventionally have you automatically know where to touch somebody to ground this shifted and stuck energy. And so, this also is going to represent unconscious habits that hidden from your own, consciousness can put you in a position to tap into unconventionally psychoanalytical and psychological blocks to others' creativity, and also sense pathology in other people that now, through strengthening and healing their behavioral patterns, release any unconventional maladies and psychological maladies others may face. All right. Uranus here in the 12th really promotes extreme isolation or unconventional isolation. And because your sun makes a 12th house aspect to this, meaning that after you were born, a month after you were born, the sun had eventually reinitiated its cycle with Uranus, getting ready to go into Sag. This has put you in a position to realistically really uncover, radical understandings of social spaces that can have people perhaps feel you're delusional because of how out the box these psychoanalyses are, when really you're a genius. Now, Venus on the AC embodies this ascended beauty. Falling into the 12th, your embodiment now encapsulates this meaningful beauty and love that you, of course, represent. And I will also share the Neptune. I have also shared the Neptune instrument alien that in the Century Report, we will see that Maritza also has as well. And this is going to represent your capacity to reflect the inherent God and Goddess within each individual, hypnotize others, project invisibility. I know that sounds very crazy, but Neptune is more metaphysical in its aspect and nature. Neptune here is going to represent a clairvoyant portal that enables you to see beyond the meaning or through the meaning of an experience. And this is where, in embodying this is intangible. So it's not like Venus here that you can see the way with which your flair and beauty expresses. Everything that the moon in Aries is going to empower. And now take this perspective of how you show the higher vision of yourself, and now feel the direction to integrate that moving forward, the authenticity that drives this. Now the power of your soul, because you are soul power, that drives forward this perspective of who you are creatively, as your moon in the 5th house helps you feel how creatively you can anchor this authenticity in order to perform socially and in a balanced intellectual way towards others, is strengthened by Mars in the 9th. The philosophical and very bold action of your heart that strengthens how much more courageously you can take action on what you do. And that strength revisits this transcendence of the vision around yourself. So Neptune is going to add intuitive capability to the social actions and the super strength. Mars in Leo is an aspect of super strength here that will add more dynamic range and passion to everything you do. So if it was just the moon in Aries and Mars in Leo, there will be a very passionate way with which you feel this fire within yourself and can sustain that fire through how you socially maneuver. But now the Neptune Grand Fire Trine transcends the higher vision with which you operate, allowing you in an unseen way, or allowing you to forego inductive or deductive reasoning and intuitively just gain higher perspective through embodying that. Okay. Whew. That being said, as we have uncovered, the Libra stellium you have here with Saturn will really influence or really speak towards the authority that you express and, in a sense, actualize. Saturn in astrology is not just integrity and karma. It's also going to represent, especially during 28 to 30, during the Saturn return, where one exercises their authority. And this authority you have and express is in a social sense. It's not Saturn in Taurus or Aries, which is individually defined karma, that represents the responsibility to apply towards aspects of your own individuality. It's not universal or collective karma like a Saturn in Capricorn that Ghislaine Maxwell or the former President Barack Obama have, which represent responsibility over an entire collective, the way a U.S. president will be responsible over, the whole world. It's not exclusive to presidents. Our President Trump has Saturn in Cancer, which is an individualized karma. So it's not that just having this position means that, but it's interesting to see Barack Obama having Saturn in Capricorn and other collective karmic authorities who are responsible for the collective. You have the social karmic aspect, the harvesting that breaks through how this authority shapes society. Okay. And once again, in the 11th house of rewards and friends and hopes and wishes, you expand and awaken these communities relative to the important social work that bridges multiple people together. Mercury retrograded out of Scorpio back into this Libra point, which can represent a psychoanalytical brain processor that's able to dive very deeply into the root core of a situation. Coming out of the 12th of the unconscious habits and beliefs, it falls in the 11th, which is going to influence how you communicate this depth of meaning towards other people, and really have a transformative quality of thinking as well. And with the proximity that your sun once again makes to Jupiter and Pluto, it's going to extremely amplify the potency with which these actions you take influence others very classically. All right. We do see that the ruler of your second house in Capricorn, the ruler of your 12th house in Scorpio, Pluto, and the ruler of your first house, Sagittarius, all fall in the 11th. The ruler of the 12th, Pluto, Scorpio, Pluto rules Scorpio, Jupiter rules Sag, Saturn rules your second house, Capricorn. So the ruler of your unconscious habits and spirituality, your identity and personality, and your money, finances, and values all fall in the 11th house, representing how these unconscious habits, your identity, and your values are directly applied relative to the shaping of your community and your social circle of friends. The 11th house suns that I examine, they're usually, especially with Saturn, responsible for the group of friends that they're in. So it's like, it's not like you might have, it's not like there isn't another mutual friend through which you met the friends, but it's more often than not common. And I'm not saying this has to apply to you, but when I see stuff like this, it's like all the friends who know you as the hub. It's like they met each other through you, right? That's not to say that it has to apply like that, but that's how I like to interpret that. So please let me know if that's what you envision or embody. There is a responsibility that goes into how you shape, the social actions and definition of community you take, even individually, because now you are the individual social activist with a universal ascended personality. Okay, this transcendent vision, beautiful vision of self that enables you to inject this authenticity into the social spaces that you inspire others through. And I can't emphasize alone, this 20-degree conjunction from Sun and Jupiter exact really go in a long way towards how you activate this expansion and how you activate evolution relative to where you go. Albeit Saturn and Pluto could be like a destruction construction crew. A great example of this is Hush Puppy, the Nigerian scammer who I think laundered over like $300 million. He also had this aspect: Saturn, Sun, Jupiter, Pluto. Pluto's going to represent the illegal underground operation. Saturn's going to represent the organization that enabled him to have many working under him. And Jupiter is going to represent him just flexing all his riches online that actually led to his inevitable capture. All right. But also the expansion, this larger than life persona. You have a godlike potential and power of spirit. It's not like just the Libra sun someone is born with here. Now your spirit connects with these alien godlike entities to empower more facet onto this expression of your spirit, making you a lot more extreme than other Libra suns born after 83, making you a lot more controlled and organizational with Saturn, and making you so much more abundant. Like a wrecking ball that breaks down a house, it's getting ready to expand through construction later. So you're able to really deconstruct, the political realm, the social arena. And it, once again, is colored by not really losing who you are, which is a really big issue with Libra, who is in its fall in Libra, the sun. Okay. Basically Libra can be so other focused that they lose their authenticity trying to please other people. This is not an issue you have. Okay. This is definitely something that will always be somewhat of an anchor, even though the anchor is more towards your spirit. This is definitely going to be a core authentic marker that will really embolden and inflame the passion that goes into the objectivity, right? The moon in Aries is going to be a bit more subjective around what you feel you want and how creative you understand you can be. And then the sun in Libra is going to be more balanced and objective, bringing this subjective creativity to the objective balance and expression of justice, fairness, and of course, like I said, balance. We do also see the MC in Virgo, which is going to influence this legacy to analyze how you can change your community and society, and how you provide necessary facts and change the way society analyzes how what is factual is factual. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this report. I hope my explanation in the beginning of the video really brings more understanding into how these transits play out. A lot of people who read astrology like to give more mentalist cookbook explanations that feel good, but don't really bring into account the angles and the meaning of those angles that really make up why this plays out in your archetype, and could really just be more misleading and deceptive than actually scientific. Regardless, we do see the chart of a very powerful mover and shaker. And now that Jupiter has finished out of your seventh house, you have begun to harvest 6 years worth of evolution since 2019, when Jupiter was in Sagittarius, expanding this vision of yourself. So congratulations, the South Node in Virgo is unlocking your career and the analysis of how you achieve success, so that it can really establish your private beliefs around this foundation that supports this vision of self, and can set up anywhere from autonomy in home, working from home, of course, real estate, businesses and ventures, and really changing the shape of who you trust within your own private life. All right. You stay blessed as always. I hope you enjoyed this report. And until next time, peace.